So to start navigating through these different conversations, David is going to kick us off with roles and decision making.
Great, thanks, Nicole. So one of the first conversations you really want to be able to have at the sibling level and even the level above that is who's going to be doing what in the family business and who has what authority and what autonomy to make decisions and to drive progress within the family business. So the first piece with respect to roles and responsibilities is you want to make sure you're finding the right seat on the bus. And so what does that mean? What we're really talking about is not only who's going to be driving the bus, and Nicole will talk about that with respect to leadership, but also finding your place within the family business. What's your role? What fits your skill sets? Matching that with the needs of the business at the same time. So making sure that your seat on the bus is aligned with the rest of the organization, with the leadership of the organization, and the direction that the company is really trying to go is critical. You've got to be able to match it with the needs of the business in particular. But also, we want to make sure we're setting you up for success. So understanding your skill sets. So although you may want to be the CFO, not everybody may have the financial acumen or the skill sets to be the CFO or the head of marketing or the head of sales or even ultimately the CEO. You've got to be able to look at your talents, your work-life balance, what you want that to look like in order to make sure we're finding the right place for you in the organization. We want to look at your likes. What do you really enjoy doing? What don't you enjoy doing? Where do your strengths lie? And where are some of your limitations? And so we've got to be very honest, very transparent, and really have very strong communication among the siblings and among the family as to what the expectations are with respect to a role that a family member would have in the business. We want to make sure that's crystal clear. I like to call it the rules of the game, that I would never play a game unless I knew the rules. What's out of bounds? What's a foul? Well, the same thing is going to be involved within your family business. Understanding your expectations, what are the rules of the game in this family business, and having a really open and transparent conversation with your family. What's the reporting structure going to look like? Do I report to my brother, my mom, or my sister, or my aunt, or my uncle, or do I report to somebody else within the family business? Best practices might lean towards working for somebody or reporting directly to somebody else other than a family member. But at the end of the day, there is no right or wrong. The right answer is what you do for your family business. Finally, you want to look at a review, you want to look at performance reviews. You want to monitor how is somebody performing, and so that ultimately, if there are some changes that need to happen, you're prepared ahead of time so that we're not caught off guard or we're not surprised by any type of a conversation or performance enhancements or changes that need to be made. The next piece you walk into is really looking at who makes what decisions in the family business. We have to be able to create autonomy and authority in terms of who makes what decisions, how are those decisions made, what level of information should be shared among the family. All of those pieces are critical when having a discussion around decision making in the family business. We want to be able to use data, but only to a point. Some people can make a decision with 20% of the information. Other people may need 95% of the information. We've got to be able to find a balance in how we use data in terms of making decisions in the family business. Third, one of the most important points is we've got to be able to support the decisions that are made. That although you may not agree with it, and in the boardroom, let's argue those discussions or argue those decisions and have that healthy back and forth. But at the end of the day, when everybody leaves that boardroom, we've got to be able to support the decision that was made by an individual or by the family as a whole. And if we don't, your employees are going to read right through it, and they will see that. And the worst thing that can happen is have your employees play you. And it's been known to happen. I'm working with a client right now where the employees can see some discord at the family level, and the employees are capitalizing on it, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy for the family, and it's certainly not healthy for the business. Take some risks. Be prepared to fail. None of us is perfect, and we all make mistakes. The critical piece is learn from your mistakes so that we don't repeat them, and we can learn and we can actually change and make the business more productive, more successful as a result of a mistake that may have happened within the business. But give yourself some rope, it's okay, and take some chances there. Finally, empower others to make decisions. This is a great way to delegate. And one of the most important things of leadership, and Nicole will touch upon it, is in order to grow within leadership, we've got to be able to improve our delegation. We have to manage ourselves out of our roles and look into how do we pass that down and empower other people within the organization to make decisions. Also, let's be clear on who makes what decisions within the business. Again, going back to the rules of the game type analogy. So one of the things that's really helpful in deciding who makes what decisions is looking at a decision-making matrix. This is just a very high level, rough example, and you can customize it any way you want. But at the end of the day, it's really critical to know who has the authority to make a decision versus who's kept informed. And as long as those who are kept informed remain informed, they will continue to feel more and more comfortable allowing an individual to have the authority and autonomy to make those decisions. So whether it's a mission and vision statement, or looking at a SWOT analysis, or identifying what the business is really about, or looking at sales and marketing and creating a budget, down to the operations and ultimately down to the financial and who has P&L responsibility, all we encourage is make it super clear on who has the authority within those decisions and who should be kept informed.
So David, I have kind of an extreme case on this decision making. One
Sure.
of the very first clients I worked with was two brothers, and their way of deciding who got to make what decision was a literal fist fight in the boardroom, and whoever won got to make the decision.
Yeah.
So if they would have had a tool like this matrix, that would have saved them a lot of actual bruises.
Well, yeah, absolutely. See, it's that situation, Nicole. That's when we end up getting called in, is usually after the first or second fight. And ideally, you know, in our world, we want to take a proactive approach and manage the conversation before it escalates into conflict. And using tools like this, having those open, transparent discussions really helps us to proactively allow our clients and families in general avoid the ultimate conflict.